I'm Dr. James Markham with Mission SONlight Wellness. And we like to talk to you about different health conditions and different things that might affect your life. Today we're going to talk about tuberculosis. We haven't talked about this before, and this can be a problem for many people around the world. For years, people called tuberculosis consumption, especially in the 1800s. But as science has moved forward, we've learned that tuberculosis is a mycobacterium. It's actually a bacteria that's very hard to kill. And this bacteria frequently moves to the lungs. In fact, tuberculosis is the second most common cause of death from infection in the world. And in fact, if the disease gets active, it kills 50% of those who have it. If you have tuberculosis, a symptom might be a cough, you might bring up blood, you might have fever, night sweats. And unfortunately, 1 in 3 people have been exposed to tuberculosis in the entire world. Well, fortunately, many of these are latent. They don't become active. You've been exposed, but the disease does not get turned on. That's why a strong immune system is so important. In fact, weak immune systems, whether you've been exposed to AIDS or different medications, that makes you more prone to developing tuberculosis if you have a latent infection in your body. If a person has these symptoms, first of all, we put them in isolation so they don't spread the infection, but we look at their sputum. That's the stuff that comes out of their lungs and their mouth. We can see the bacterium in that. If you've been exposed, sometimes you might have had the skin testing where we see if you've been exposed to it. We can even look at chest x-rays to see if you might be exposed in that way. Unfortunately, this is a tough bacteria to kill. Its cell wall is thick. It's hard to get antibiotics in. It takes prolonged treatment. In fact, when a person has tuberculosis, multiple antibiotics are used. These might include isoniazid, rifampin, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, and treatment is usually for 6 months. Drug resistance is a problem, and this bacteria can mutate. Now, we've noticed the people that have tuberculosis are more common in people, like I said, that are immunosuppression. These people might have been exposed to AIDS virus, other chronic conditions like malaria, certain medications that make their immune system very sick. So tuberculosis is a major worldwide problem. And if you've been exposed to it, it's very important that you keep your immune system strong. Well, before we leave, we've talked a little bit about tuberculosis. I want to give you a biblical prescription for life, something that will help you improve your entire immune system so that you might stay away from infections like tuberculosis, so you might have a strong body to fight off these things. Well, if you think about the Bible, God created sunlight. And did you know that sunlight improves your entire immune system? It helps your macrophages do better. If you think about it, when people get sick, well, in the United States, we put them in the hospital. This really doesn't make a lot of sense because they aren't exposed to sunlight. Many years ago, they used to have sanitariums. People used to get sunlight, improve their immune system so they could fight infections better. We might not be able to do this today in our country, but around the world, if you're sick, get out in the sun. This improves your body's own ability to fight infections. This is a biblical prescription for life. So I hope you've learned just a little bit about tuberculosis. It's still a worldwide problem, but more importantly, I want you to keep your immune system strong, get out in the sunlight, and learn more biblical prescriptions for life. I'm Dr. James Markham, wishing you the best of health.